All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are heading way, way down into the crushing darkness of the deep ocean to meet one of its most fascinating and, let's be honest, kind of weird inhabitants, the anglerfish.
So let's just jump right in. I mean, look at this thing. We've all seen this picture, right? It looks like something straight out of a nightmare. But this creature isn't a monster from some horror movie. It's an absolute masterpiece of survival, an animal perfectly engineered for a world so extreme it's almost beyond our imagination.
You know, the name anglerfish isn't just for one type of fish. It actually covers this huge family, over 300 different species, all part of an order called Lophioformes. But today, we're going to focus on the ones you're probably thinking of, the deep sea guys, the ones they call sea devils. They've pretty much perfected the art of living in a place that is truly alien.
So where do they live? Well, they hang out in what scientists call the bathypelagic zone. A much cooler name for it, though, is the midnight zone. And that's because we're talking about depths so deep that absolutely zero sunlight ever gets there. So you have to wonder, what's it like living in a world like that?
Yeah, living this far down, it's not just tough. It is a non-stop battle against, well, pretty much everything. Every single day is about solving a bunch of life or death puzzles. And let's start with the biggest one.
Okay, first things first. It is completely, totally, 24/7 dark. I'm not talking it's a cloudy night dark. I'm talking about the total absence of light forever. So the big question is, how on earth do you find food if you can't see your own fin in front of your face?
And on top of that absolute darkness, you've got this insane crushing pressure that would just flatten most living things. It's near freezing cold. And food? Oh, food is incredibly rare. The deep sea is mostly just empty. So finding a meal or even finding a mate is like trying to find one specific person in the middle of a desert at night. To survive here, you don't just need a few tricks. You need a whole survival kit.
So how does the anglerfish solve this? Well, it has its very own superpower, and it's the one it's most famous for: bioluminescence. See, it doesn't just try to see in the dark. No, it makes its own light. It literally becomes a little lantern in the endless night.
And that light is the key to its ultimate hunting trick. This right here is the ultimate fishing rod. You see that long spine sticking out from her head? That's called an elysium, and it's actually a modified piece of her dorsal fin. It works exactly like you think it would.
And at the very tip of that rod, you've got the esca. It's this fleshy little bulb, and inside, it's packed with millions of tiny bacteria that glow. The anglerfish just dangles and wiggles this glowing lure. And what happens? Curious little fish and squid come to investigate and swim right into its giant, waiting mouth. It's basically the deep sea version of a drive-thru.
And believe me, when a meal finally shows up, the anglerfish is ready. It makes every single bite count. And this is where it gets crazy. An anglerfish can swallow something that's up to twice its own body size. Just think about that for a second. When food is that hard to find, you can't afford to be picky or let anything get away.
So how does it pull off a feat like that? Well, its whole body is built for it. It has a massive mouth that opens up and creates this vacuum, literally sucking prey in. Its jaw and stomach are made of thin, flexible bones, so they can stretch a lot. And those teeth? They're razor sharp and they all point inwards. It's like a one-way door. Once you're in, there is no coming back out. Oh, and its dark skin? That's the perfect camouflage for the darkness. Okay, so hunting is one thing, but what about finding a partner? In that huge, empty darkness, how in the world does an anglerfish find a mate to reproduce? Well, the answer is, honestly, it's one of the weirdest and most extreme strategies you'll find in the entire animal kingdom. It all comes down to something called extreme sexual dimorphism, which is just a fancy way of saying the males and females are wildly different. The female, she's the big, scary, toothy predator we all picture. The male, on the other hand, he's tiny. I mean, sometimes smaller than your fingernail. His sole purpose in life is to find a female.
So here's how it goes down. The tiny male uses his super-developed sense of smell, those oversized nostrils, to follow the chemical trail that the female leaves in the water. Once he finally finds her, he bites down hard, and he does not let go. Then something incredible happens. He releases an enzyme that literally dissolves his own face and her skin, fusing them together. Their circulatory systems merge, and from that point on, he's a permanent part of her. His eyes, his fins, his own organs, they all wither away until he's basically just a living pair of testes attached to her side.
It's hard to wrap your head around, right? He becomes, like this quote says, nothing more than a lump of reproductive organs on call to fertilize eggs at the whim of the female. He's there to provide sperm whenever she needs it, and in return, she provides him with all the nutrients he needs to live. It's a bizarre solution for sure, but it perfectly solves the problem of finding a date in the deep, dark ocean.
Okay, so just when you think you've got the anglerfish all figured out, the dark, the lure, the parasitic male, there's a twist. Because that terrifying deep-sea monster, it's just one branch of a really big and surprisingly diverse family, and some of its relatives live in much, much shallower water.
For example, say hello to the frogfish. This guy is also an ambush predator, but instead of the deep sea, he hangs out in coral reefs. He's a master of disguise, blending in perfectly. And his lure, it's not a glowing light. It's designed to look like a yummy little worm or shrimp to trick other fish.
And then you've got this character, the red-lipped batfish. I mean, look at it. It looks like it's wearing lipstick. This one lives on the seafloor, and it doesn't really swim much. Instead, it uses its fins to kind of walk along the bottom. It just goes to show you how creative and adaptable this whole family of fish really is.
All right, so let's bring it all together. From the deep dark abyss to the colorful shallows, what can we learn from all this? The anglerfish's incredible success, its mastery of its environment, it really boils down to 5 core strategies.
So, what's in their survival guide? First, you've got that living fishing rod, the glowing lure that works perfectly in total darkness. Second, the expandable body, that giant mouth and stretchy stomach that lets them eat basically anything, no matter how big. Third is that crazy strategy of extreme sexual parasitism, which guarantees they can reproduce. Fourth, they are masters of stealth, using camouflage and just staying perfectly still. And finally, they are the ultimate energy savers, with a super slow metabolism to make every calorie last. It's those 5 things together that have let the anglerfish completely conquer one of the most hostile places on Earth.
And that just leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? If a creature this wild, this perfectly and bizarrely adapted, exists in the tiny, tiny fraction of the deep sea that we've actually managed to explore, what else is down there? What other secrets and masters of survival are just waiting for us in the endless darkness below?